Travel Thru Grief. Welcome to a special bonus episode of Travel Thru Grief. I'm your host, Ellen Beckemeyer. Today is August 7th, which means it's National Lighthouse Day. It's a day that gives us an opportunity to remember the structures that have guided the sailors through darkness, the fog, storms, and unfamiliar water for generations. But here at Travel Thru Grief, the lighthouse has always represented something more. It represents the possibility of light when we cannot yet see the entire way forward. It reminds us that we do not have to know exactly where we are going to recognize the next safe step. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that even during our darkest moments, we have not disappeared. We can still be seen. We can still be guided. There is still hope. National Lighthouse Day traces its history to August 7, 1789, when President George Washington signed legislation providing federal support for lighthouses, beacons, buoys, and public piers. 200 years later, Congress designated August 7, 1989, as National Lighthouse Day to honor America's lighthouse heritage. Long before modern navigation systems, these lights, they helped sailors recognize dangerous shorelines so they could locate safe harbors and understand where they were in relation to the land. A lighthouse could not calm the ocean or stop a storm from coming, but what it could do is offer something just as important: orientation. It could say, "You are here, the rocks are there, and the harbor, it's this way." Grief often leaves us searching for that same kind of orientation. A loss can change the landscape of our lives so dramatically that even familiar places begin to feel unfamiliar. The house may look the same, but it no longer feels like the same home. The calendar continues turning, but the dates, they carry a different meaning. A favorite restaurant, holiday, song, or even a TV show can suddenly become connected to someone who is no longer sitting beside us. We may know where we are physically, yet we have no idea where we are emotionally. We may look around at the life we once recognized and wonder, where am I now? That is one reason I chose the lighthouse as a symbol for Travel Thru Grief. A lighthouse, it does not demand that we hurry. It does not shout across the water, "You should be here by now." It simply remains. Its light turns faithfully through the darkness, offering the same message again and again. There is a way through. You may not be able to see the entire coastline. You may not know how long the storm will last. You may not yet recognize the person you are becoming. But there is light enough for this moment, and then there will be light enough for that moment after that. We sometimes imagine healing as the moment when the storm ends and the sun finally comes out. Certainly, there are days when life begins to feel lighter. There are moments when laughter returns without being forced, and memories arrive with more warmth than pain. But healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes healing looks like noticing the lighthouse beam for just 1 second before darkness circles around again. Sometimes it is answering a text message, opening the curtains, eating something nourishing, taking a shower. Maybe it's paying one bill or walking to the mailbox, or making an appointment you've been postponing. These actions may appear ordinary to someone looking from the outside, but when grief has pulled you far from shore, an ordinary action can become a powerful point of light. The lighthouse also teaches us something about steadiness. Its work is repetitive. The light appears, moves away, and returns. It does not shine directly on one person every second of the night. That does not mean the light has gone out. What it means is the beam is continuing its rotation. Grief can feel like that too. We may have a relatively peaceful morning, and then we find ourselves overwhelmed that afternoon. We may enjoy an entire gathering and cry as soon as we reach the car. We may believe we are moving forward, and then we encounter a birthday, anniversary, even a smell or a photograph, or an unexpected reminder that brings the pain rushing back. The return of pain does not mean that all our progress has vanished. It may simply mean the beam has come around again, illuminating another part of our grief that needs to be witnessed. There may also be some times when someone else serves as our lighthouse. It could be the friend who keeps checking on us even when we do not know how to respond. It could be the therapist, the coach, pastor, support group member, a neighbor, a relative, doctor, teacher, or coworker. It might be someone who does not try to repair our grief or offer a collection of cheerful sayings. Instead, they are willing to sit near the shoreline with us. They help us feel safe, seen, and steady. They can listen without rushing us. They remember the name of the person who died. They understand that our grief did not expire when the funeral ended or when everyone else returned to their usual routines. To be safe, seen, and steady, that does not mean that everything is fixed. Safe can mean that we are allowed to speak honestly without being judged. Seen can mean that someone recognizes how much effort it takes for us to continue functioning. And steady, that can mean that we have one reliable person, practice, place, or routine to return to when everything else feels uncertain. These are not small gifts. In the middle of grief, they can be the difference between feeling completely lost and knowing that somewhere nearby, there's a light still burning. Of course, even the people who love us most, they will not always understand what we need. Some will become uncomfortable with our sadness. Some will expect us to just get back to normal, not realizing that the old normal, it may no longer exist. Others may avoid mentioning our person because they're just afraid of upsetting us, without understanding that our person is already on our mind. Their silence does not protect us from remembering. Sometimes it makes us feel as though the person's life has been erased from the world around us. When that happens, we may have to begin creating our own points of life. We can say the person's name, and we can tell their stories. We can keep a photograph nearby, maybe prepare a favorite recipe, visit a meaningful location, support a cause they cared about, or create a ritual for difficult dates. We can allow our continuing love to become part of the life we are building rather than treating it as something we must leave behind. A lighthouse stands because people maintain it. In the same way, hope often needs care. It may need to be protected, restored, and relit many, many times. And hope, that does not have to mean believing that everything will become exactly the way it was before. That may not be possible. And pretending otherwise, that can make grief feel even lonelier. Hope can be quieter and more honest. Hope can mean believing that there may still be experiences worth having. It can mean trusting that joy and sorrow are capable of existing in the same life. It can mean accepting that we can deeply miss someone and still become curious about what might be waiting beyond the horizon. Hope does not ask us to stop loving the person we lost. What it does, it asks us to consider that our love may continue to guide us. A lighthouse is built to face difficult conditions. The wind strikes it, waves crash below it, salt, rain, and time wear against its surface. Yet strength does not mean the lighthouse will never touch by the storm. Its strength is revealed because it has been touched and continues to stand. You know, the same may be true for you. Being strong does not mean you never cried, or become angry, or felt confused, or even needed help. It does not mean you carried every responsibility perfectly. Your strength may be found in the fact that you are still here, listening today. You are still trying to find your bearings. You are still searching for even one small light. Perhaps today you are standing in relatively calm waters. You are able to look back and recognize how far you have traveled. Perhaps you are in the middle of a storm, maybe just unable to imagine anything beyond the next hour. Or perhaps the storm has passed, but you remain disoriented, wondering what direction to take now. Wherever you are not failing this journey. Grief does not move according to a shipping schedule. There is no single route that everyone must follow, and there is no prize for reaching the harbor first. On this National Lighthouse Day, I invite you to think about the lights that have guided you. Who has helped you feel less alone? What place has offered you a sense of peace? What song or prayer or memory or animal, object, routine, or tradition? What has helped you find your way back to yourself? Your lighthouse does not have to be grand. It only needs to offer enough light to help. It helps you recognize where you are and where your next safe step may be. I also invite you to consider where you might be a light for someone else. Being a light does not require having all the answers. You can offer encouragement. You can show kindness. You can listen with care. You can share hope without demanding optimism. You can remember an important date. You can send a message that says, "I was thinking about you and about the person you miss." You can help someone feel seen. Often the most meaningful light, it's not advice, it is presence. And there may be seasons when you do not have enough energy to shine for anyone else. That's okay too. A lighthouse must be maintained before it can continue helping others. Rest is not selfish. Receiving care, that's not weakness. Turning toward your own needs does not make you less loving. You are permitted to seek shelter. You are permitted to let someone else hold the light for a while. And here at Travel Thru Grief, we believe there is a light, even in the darkness. We believe healing does not require forgetting. We believe you can carry love forward while slowly discovering who you are now. We believe that grief is a journey and healing happens one step at a time. And most of all, no one should have to navigate the darkest waters without some sign that they are not alone. So today, may you feel safe enough to breathe, seen enough to be honest, and steady enough to take your next step. May you recognize the lights that have guided you. May you protect the small flame of hope that still lives within you, even when it flickers. And may you remember that a lighthouse does not illuminate the entire ocean. It simply shines as far as it can, and that is enough to help someone keep going. Thank you for joining me for this National Lighthouse Day bonus episode of Travel Thru Grief. Until we meet again, Remember, you are not alone. You are never forgotten. And there is a path to healing. There is hope to be found. And there is always a way through. If this episode connected with you, I'd love for you to follow our podcast, leave a review, or share it with someone who may need it. Those small actions truly help new podcasts like Travel Thru Grief grow and reach more people. And thank you to everyone who has already listened, rated, reviewed, and supported this journey. I appreciate you more than you know. Until next time, keep finding your way forward.